ecologiQ's vision is to become a world leader in the sustainable use of recycled and reused materials in infrastructure projects by 2025. Over the past 3 years, the program has made some serious strides towards achieving this goal. With the support of ecologiQ, the use of waste resources has almost doubled since the implementation of the Recycled First policy. More than 2.5 million tonnes of recycled content have been incorporated into Victoria's big build so far. This is part of over 3.4 million tonnes of greener materials committed to be used on projects. Our modelling shows the demand for recycled materials will continue, with the potential to deliver over 10 million tonnes of recycled and reused content on big build projects between 2023 and 2027. We're seeing more innovative recycled products than ever being used in transport projects, including recycled plastic pipes, recycled plastic sleepers, and crumb rubber as a binder in asphalt. We're making great strides in our partnerships with social enterprises and have strengthened industry connections through events and showcases. While we have made great progress to integrate greener materials into infrastructure, there is still more to be done. We're excited to continue the conversation at this year's Greener Infrastructure Conference and see how collaboration can take it to the next level.
Well, good morning and welcome everyone. It's so lovely to have all of you back here today. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of this land, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. We acknowledge and uphold their continuing relationship to this land. Welcome to the final day of ecologiQ Greener Infrastructure Conference. I'm Veena Sahajwalla. I'm a professor and director at the University of New South Wales Smart Centre. And it's absolutely thrilling to have spent the last couple of days with all of you. The passion in the room, the buzz in the trade hall, the conversations have been so exciting. And of course, I hope you all have felt exactly how I've felt. It just feels that everyone is actually playing such an important role. We're coming together to all make a difference. And of course, the impact that we will have, collective impact, working together, collaborating, working with government, with industry, with communities, and to see all that impact. The conversation is about environment, it's about the economy, and it's also about creating social impact. And I think to me, that is such an important way in which we can make a difference. As a sector that looks at infrastructure and of course bringing together circular economy, this is such a great way for all of us to contribute. So thank you so much for making the time to be at this event. Now, before we begin the proceedings, there are a few housekeeping details that I'd like to just remind you of. Today's event is brought to you by ecologiQ, a Victorian government initiative that is driving reuse, recycling, and repurposing of waste materials on infrastructure, construction projects across Victoria. And this is using the big build to deliver successful project and circular outcomes. Of course, to get connected, you can access Wi-Fi by following the instructions on the screen. And if you want to follow the event, you can do so through LinkedIn and get involved with the conversation. Share your key takeaways and on-site experiences by using hashtag ecologiqconference 2023. There's also, of course, live Q&A. We would love to hear from you throughout the event. And of course, if you've got any questions for our speakers or any questions that you would like to add into our panel discussions, absolutely jump on the QR code, that's your Slido code, and of course, on your table, submit your questions, and of course, we will make sure that we can get through as many as possible. And right throughout the day, of course, there will be sessions taking place in the trade hall. I really encourage you to explore those sessions. And there are so many suppliers out there who are, excited to share with you their journey, talk about their products, and of course, tell you about their innovations. We're really proud when it comes to innovations and collaborations. We heard so much about that yesterday. So imagine if you could be part of that journey and picking up some thoughts and ideas. And we'll certainly be asking you, so keep that in mind, around what kind of actions you would like to take and implement. All the learnings from today and yesterday over these past few days, how can you actually make a difference? We've got graphic recorders, both in the plenary and trade hall. They're listening to everything that we're saying. And of course, they're creating these fabulous representations of the conference. And we will certainly share that with you at the end of the day. Certainly in the trade hall, these graphic recordings are interactive. So absolutely go visit them, drop in your ideas. Now, in case of an emergency, please follow instructions that are provided by venue staff. If you hear beep beep, stop what you're doing and await further instructions. If you hear a whoop whoop emergency evacuation tone, please remain calm and go to the nearest emergency exit. The nearest emergency assembly area is at the Monroe Street car park. For any fire, medical, and security emergencies, please notify the center's security immediately. Bathroom and other facilities are located outside the doors on the left, and a parenting room, prayer rooms, and first aid facilities are available out the main doors to your left behind the Goldfields Cafe. Now, of course, yesterday, we've had the opportunity to learn from each other and to listen about so many different things that we know we have to do. Yes, there is a lot of work ahead of us, but we also have to pause and reflect and be inspired by all the incredibly amazing work that is going on in the state. To look at those examples you saw earlier in the video, there is a lot of good people out there innovating. Doesn't matter whether it's a small regional business or a large corporation. We, of course, know very well that it takes a lot of collective effort. It takes a lot of innovation and science and that knowledge. We heard about curating knowledge yesterday. And I think that's important. We, of course, also know that the opportunities are going to continue. These few days are really about planting seeds in your mind to think about where you might build those connectivities. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge our sponsors. There are, of course, many of them. And take a moment as you go through the trade hall to go and share your thoughts, your ideas, and provide them with a bit of encouragement. We do have a jam-packed program today. But before we get into the details of the program, I thought I might just reflect on some of those key words that you were sharing with us yesterday, what you've been learning from that conference experience so far. So keep that at the back of your mind. A lot of you shared a whole range of ideas around collaboration, innovation, and of course, what these new ideas could mean for you as you go back into the workplace. You can, of course, go back and reflect on these. We'd love to be able to bring in some of these ideas, and we'll reflect on those as the day goes on, and towards the end of the day, start to share with you not only what you've learned and your experience, but also that action, that translation, and of course, taking that back with you. I can see already there are people logging in and jumping on Slido to be able to tell us what their experience has been. It's really lovely to see that these words are coming through. Once again today, we have a jam-packed program that will continue to look at practical ways in which Victoria can translate into a circular economy. We will hear from the Australian government on its priorities and from other jurisdictions on the progress that they're making. We will also hear from our international colleagues on those lessons that are learned and from the projects that are taking place overseas, and Indigenous perspective on circular economy practices that are more than 60,000 years old. To open the proceedings today, we're really fortunate. We've got Minister Ingrid Stitt, the Victorian Minister for the Environment. Please welcome Minister Stitt to the stage. Minister.